Alright people, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification. That way you know when I upload the next video and you'll be supporting my channel. Follow me on Twitter. Every time I upload a new video, I'll be tweeting. Horizon Chess Homo and this is Adeptus Astartes Space Marines Warhammer 40,000 by the channel The Templin Institute. I don't know, I was looking to what Warhammer video should I react to today. Should I continue the Emperor of Man, second part that I'm doing, or should I find some other, short guide type of thing from Templin Institute? And then I saw it pop up on my notification feed that Templin Institute just recently uploaded this one, Adeptus Astartes. So yeah, this is the big one, right? It's about the whole Space Marine as a whole, right? So I can't pass that up. So why the hell not? Let's do this. This shall be my finest warrior. This man who give of themselves to me. Like clay, I should mold them, and in the future furnace of war, I shall forge them. This shall be of iron will and steely sinew. In great armor, I shall clad them. Okay, I'm having a hard time reading this. And with the mightiest weapons shall they be armed. They will be untouchable by plague or disease. Oh yeah, that's true, isn't it? No sickness shall blight them. They shall have such tactics, strategies, and machines that no foe will best them in battle. They are my bulwark against the terror. They are the defenders of humanity. They are my Space Marines. They shall know no fear. That's a famous quote, right? I think I've heard this many times. Right, somebody even said this in one of the videos. Yeah, this is Emperor saying that who Space Marine is going to be. Space Marines are kind of OP in the universe, right? I mean, they have very little, if any, weaknesses, and they are just overpowered superhumans, I guess. So yeah, this is going to be fun. Remember, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe so I know which type of videos to react to more. Dislike has been removed for whatever reason. I'm not saying I like people disliking my videos, but at least that way I know which type of videos I should avoid and not. Which type of topics my people basically likes or not. But yeah, apparently dislike is not there. So yeah, and check out the reaction. There's a link in the description. Check out the cards for playlists like Warhammer 40k playlist makes things easier because my channel is, I guess, cluster of lots of different topics. Right, I like many different topics, and I know about many different topics like science, history. Even I like the all the fantasy world of games, books, even this. Right, Warhammer 40k. I just started to react to this, and I love it already. So I have many different type of genres of reactions. Like it might become a bit too much to find something. So that's why I created so many playlists. So check out that way it will be more easier, I guess. And yeah, let's do this one. Oh, didn't switch to the earphones. Alright, let's go. Ooh, I need t-shirt with that logo.
In the grim darkness of the far future, the age of the Imperium is over. Across the universe, a death knell has sounded, for the time of ending has begun. On countless worlds, billions perish in carnage and slaughter, to the laughter of thirsting gods. Ancient evils awaken in the forgotten depths, assailing themselves against what few foundations of humanity remain. Everywhere in which the light of the Imperium now fades, a multitude of horrors gather, awaiting the time when the last bastions are broken and the great massacre of mankind can begin. Few remember there was once a time, slowly forgotten with each passing day, when the God Emperor walked among humanity, together with his sons. A brief moment when all the terrors of the galaxy might have been cast aside, and a new golden age willed into existence from the darkness of the old. Reason and compassion might have prevailed over superstition and tyranny, but the triumphs of the Emperor and the great crusade he led are gone, never to return. Yet, even in his deathless state, the Emperor continues his eternal vigilance. Mighty battle fleets cross the demon-infested miasma of the warp, guided by the psychic manifestation of the Emperor's light. For every step taken on a world claimed by the Imperium, the enemies of mankind face the massed guns of the Imperial Guard.
Wait a minute, is this some game thing or some other Warhammer thing, or is this created by Temple Institute? Did Temple Institute create all this animation? Because if they did that, holy shit, that's a next level effort. They only have 500,000 subscribers. It feels like Temple Institute should have few millions at least, 1 or 1.5 million at least. I don't know. I feel like this is a very underrated channel when it comes to content like this.
Guard the holy fires of the ecclesiarchy, or the eldritch machines of Mars. Armies all that fight and die in the Emperor's name. Yet on some battlefields, the most critical to the Imperium's survival, grotesque Xenos empires and traitors in service to the ruinous powers face annihilation by nothing less than the Emperor's will made manifest. They are his angels of death, descending from crackling skies, announced by terrible thunder. They are his finest warriors, molded like clay in the furnace of war. They are of iron will and steely muscle, in great armor clad with the mightiest guns armed. They are untouched by disease and sickness. They are the bulwark against the terror. They are the defenders of humanity. They are the Adeptus Astartes, the Space Marines, and they shall know no fear. Amongst the myriad of institutions that make...
I don't want to pause too much, but seriously, I just thought of this. In the Fallout world, right? Whenever somebody like with a Enclave power armor, or even, the T-51 or any kind of power armor walks by, it's just like, oh, holy shit, look at that. Those are, badass elite soldiers with power armor. There's a feel to that. I guess they took that feel from the Warhammer 40k. Bethesda did that. Because that's the same feel this, Astartes give out, right? There's a war going on, suddenly Astartes arrive with that kind of, paint and big, massive armor. People are like, holy shit, elites are here.
Make war in the Emperor's name. The Astartes are counted among the most elite and battle-hardened. They make use of weapons, tanks, aircraft, and artillery, often more advanced, but not entirely dissimilar to those common within Imperial armies. Instead, their true strength lies in their soldiery. Every Space Marine has been genetically enhanced through the lost arts of genecraft to become something more than human. They are stronger, faster, and more resilient, capable of martial feats that would be impossible otherwise. Together, these warriors are organized into chapters, 1,000 of which are said to currently exist, though the true number is impossible to verify. A chapter of the Adeptus Astartes is an entirely independent and self-sufficient army. Each is a highly mobile, flexible force expected to excel on any kind of battlefield against any kind of enemy. A chapter encompasses a primary fighting element, consisting of the Astartes themselves, and an auxiliary element, administrative personnel, logisticians, and the fleet of warships and transports that keep the chapter mobile and operating at peak efficiency. These latter supportive elements might include some Astartes who have been assigned to non-combative roles, but are otherwise overwhelmingly staffed by chapter serfs. These are unmodified humans who for any number of reasons have become indentured servants of the chapter. Every aspect of a chapter's organization, function, and fighting ability is expected to adhere to the Codex Astartes, the foundational work concerning Space Marine doctrine. The Codex requires a chapter to be split into 10 companies of 100 Marines. The 2nd through 5th companies are referred to as the Battle Companies, and constitute the majority of the chapter's fighting strength. Each is led by...
Yeah, seriously, I mean, throughout the history of our time, greatest warriors and commanders, their strength lies in their tactics, right? I mean, the core system of Napoleon, right? Julius Caesar had his, own legion, the way he molded them. So I guess tactics is really important. So, there should be a separate video, entire separate video explaining the different tactics that Codex Astartes basically tells how to do it, I guess, how everything is, right, how they fight, how to engage things, right, all the different portion of the entire legion. That would be awesome.
By a captain with 2 subordinate lieutenants, and includes a chaplain responsible for the company's spiritual welfare. Additionally, an Astartes within every battle company will be appointed the title of champion, expected to protect the captain with his life, while another will be named Ancient and granted the honor of bearing the company standard. The remainder of the company's Marines are divided into 10 squads, 6 forming the main battle line, 2 providing close support, and 2 providing fire support. An array of transport vehicles is maintained by individual battle companies, ensuring its entire strength can be rapidly moved across the battlefield when required. In addition to their battlefield role, the captain of each company is granted a number of titles and duties traditionally associated with the company he leads. These might be purely ceremonial or critical to the continued operation of the chapter. The captain of the second company is the master of the watch. The third company captain is the master of the arsenal. The fourth company captain is the master of the fleet, and the fifth company captain is the master of the marches. Chapter companies 6 through 9 are designated companies of reserve. When a battle company suffers losses in battle, it is from these formations that their replacements will be drawn. Unlike the mixed squad compositions of the battle companies, the 6th and 7th each maintain 10 standard battle line squads. The
Fucking
8th and 9th
flamethrower.
consist solely of close support and fire support respectively. Squads from the reserve companies will often be assigned to serve alongside the battle companies, while in larger campaigns an entire reserve company might fight as a whole. Impromptu task forces at various levels of strength are repeatedly created from component elements of the reserve companies depending on the requirements and unique characteristics of the battlefield. Leadership of the reserve companies is largely identical to that of the battle companies, with each including a captain, lieutenants, chaplain, and ancient. Like their counterparts, these captains are each assigned additional roles and duties. The captains of the 6th through 9th companies are the Master of the Rites, the Chief Victor, the Lord Executioner, and the Master of Relics. Their duties are mainly centered around chapter logistics and the codification of its traditions and customs. The 10th company is unique within the chapter, in that its members have yet to be fully transformed into Astartes.
Alright.
Known as the Scout Company, the 10th is a formation in which raw aspirants learn the methods of war utilized by the chapter and gain vital experience. It is in many ways one of the final means by which a potential Astartes is trained. Under the intense pressure, only a real battlefield.
So 1 to 5 must be the main one, let's just say. 6 to 9 is more logistics, who basically oversees things like, are we doing things right by the code and this and that. 10th one is basically the rookie, right? Rookie in this sense, who's a scout apparently.
Field can provide. Once a scout has proven themselves here, they will undergo the final stages of their transformation and be assigned to one of the other companies. The first company of an Astartes chapter is its most elite military unit. Its warriors have mastered every battlefield role after decades of service within the Scout, Reserve, and Battle companies. They are the exemplars of the chapter's strength, with each of its members having performed some legendary deed of bravery or genius. The first company is rarely deployed as a whole, with the entire formation only fighting together during the most dire of circumstances. Instead, individual squads from this company are attached to other Space Marine strike forces, acting as mentors and examples to their fellow Marines. These veteran squads are less constrained by rigid doctrine, allowed at their discretion to deploy with weapons and armor best suited towards close combat or ranged engagements. In most cases, access to the chapter's Terminator armor, a rare and ancient form of protection, will be granted to the first company alone.
Okay.
Existing
Terminator
outside
armor.
of the company structure are a number of varied, smaller units and institutions.
Okay, what's the difference between normal armor and Terminator armor? Ooh, that piques my interest. Again, another video should be talking about all the different type of equipment and rare equipments, like he said, that, you know, certain legions might have.
The armory is responsible for maintenance of the chapter's vehicles and warsuits. It is staffed mainly by chapter serfs, mindless robotic servitors, specialist Astartes known as Tech Marines, and commanded by the Master of the Forge. The Librarius is a repository of information, home to the chapter's most sacred artifacts, trophies, and texts. It is tended by the Librarians, powerful psychers who now bend the warp itself to the benefit of their chapter and brothers. It is overseen by the chapter's chief librarian. The chaplaincy tests and inspires the loyalty of their brothers, performing rituals and ceremonies as dictated by the Master of Sanctity or his immediate subordinate, the Reclusiarch. The Apothecarian manages the health of the chapter, but the highest duty of its chief apothecary is the preservation of the chapter's gene seed, the only means through which new Astartes might be created.
Yeah.
The Armory, Librarius, Reclusium, and Apothecarian might temporarily or permanently assign members of their ranks to companies or squads, providing field repairs, psychic powers, fanatical zeal, or medical care, respectively. Above every other institution is Chapter Command.
So just a moments ago I said that, there should be a separate video about who explains how Legion and inside the Legion, how different tactics and ranks work, how Adeptus Codex, basic Codex Astartes, whatever that is, basically tells what type of tactics to use, what type of, I guess groups to use in a one particular Legion. And apparently he's explaining just that. So yeah, I guess I spoke too early.
Officers and specialists who form the headquarters staff. They are led by the Chapter Master, the supreme authority from which all others derive. These individuals are paragons of warfare and logistics, capable of directing strategy and immediately reacting to every threat and opportunity that presents itself. The arrival of a Chapter Master can be enough to turn an imminent defeat into a great victory, so complete is their understanding and ability. Within the Greater Imperium, Chapter Masters possess enormous personal authority. In addition to the...
And Chapter Masters, all Primarchs, or maybe lots of them are dead, so I guess some Legions don't have Primarchs, there's just a Chapter Master. But I'm pretty sure... Okay, I don't know. Am I getting confused here? I'm pretty sure all Legions have their Primarchs, right? There are, 18 Legions or something like that? And all of the Legions, second and 11th one is basically lost, and their Primarchs are lost. But other, 1 and then third 2, I guess... 10 and 12 to 20, all of them I guess have a Primarchs as the leader, right? I guess some of the Primarchs are dead, or I guess in coma or something. That's the case. I don't know, I need to react to a Primarch video solely around Primarchs and what their state is.
Complete command they wield over their chapter, Masters can requisition entire star systems or assume control over most other Imperial military units. Above all, it is by their order alone that their chapter is deployed. To conduct warfare anywhere in the galaxy, the Codex Astartes allows for each chapter to possess its own fleet. Many chapters, typically the oldest and most established, make use of battle barges, specialized battleships uniquely suited towards boarding actions. These are often the largest vessels utilized by a chapter and are the flagship of their fleet. Strike cruisers and frigates make up much of the remainder of the fleet. While they are all powerful warships in their own right, ultimately their first responsibility is to bear the chapter into war, and therefore are most often used in line-breaking, blockade running, and planetary assaults. In rare instances, a chapter might operate from their fleet alone, constantly roving across the galaxy. These cases notwithstanding, most operate a permanent headquarters located on a homeworld. This planet, moon, or even asteroid exists under the authority of the chapter alone, and is the primary site in which training, recruitment, and rearming occurs. In some instances, the homeworld is just one among many planets that a chapter controls. As the Imperium continues to fracture, a growing number of worlds have ceded their authority over to Space Marine chapters.
Yeah, I mean, most of, knowing how Imperium is mostly militaristic, and especially in the current 41st millennia, in the 41st millennia basically, how everything is basically as militarized as it can get, most of the chapters where they reside, they probably have control over the entire planet.
Providing recruits and serfs in exchange for protection. The independent, flexible nature of the Space Marines is anticipated within the Codex Astartes. Small deviations are acceptable within a chapter's practices and organization to accommodate local traditions and culture. It is not uncommon for a chapter's ranks and titles to incorporate or have been replaced by those used on their homeworld.
They're the wolf guys.
Sometimes these variances extend to the role of chapter master or the autonomy permitted to their captains. Many chapters have come to excel in a particular aspect of war and outfit their companies to reflect that.
What is this? That's what Harley Davidson are gonna look like, I guess, from what, 40,000 years from now. Look at that. On a bike with a gun. I like that. This is cool as shit. Which group, which legion is this? White with red flames coming out of it, apparently.
Through such nuances, it is possible that two Codex-compliant chapters might appear entirely different from one another in their customs and nomenclature. Some chapters, however, have diverged so thoroughly from the Codex Astartes that their organization and capabilities are now entirely unique. These non-Codex compliant chapters might be the result of an intentional deviation, or have occurred naturally over the millennia without any explicit motive. Often these aberrations are overlooked, although the reputation of the chapter might suffer as a result. In some extreme circumstances, a chapter that has wildly departed from the structure of the Codex might be labeled heretical and marked for destruction.
Damn.
Therefore, non-Codex compliant chapters have at times attempted to conceal their true nature. The Codex Astartes has attempted to standardize the chapters, but their variances are inherent to their biology. Every Space Marine is created using the gene seed of their respective Primarch, 20 immortal, superhuman generals and statesmen, themselves crafted by the Emperor of Man during the earliest days of the Imperium.
They're very inbred,
Through the
apparently.
surgical integration of 19 additional organs, a normal human adolescent male is turned into the transhuman Astartes, but the process also imbues them with certain qualities and aspects of their respective Primarch.
Yeah.
Their physical appearance might be altered, or they might become predisposed towards specific feelings, thoughts, and methods. Since the creation...
That's the best thing about this. Like, Primarchs have their own, separate specialities, right? And every Primarch's gene is the basis of all their, Astartes. So all Astartes' ability is a literally reflection of their Primarchs. So this separates every group at somewhat, right? What their speciality is. So certain Astartes might be perfect for certain problems. Like, I don't know, was it Blood Angels or who are they? That basically is just, great fight against Tyranids or something like that, right? So certain Space Marines might have certain type of qualities that are great against certain, I guess, some Space Marines might have, higher resistance towards, certain type of, any kind of a poison or disease type of thing. So they would be great against any of the demonic attack from Nurgle or something like that.
Of the Primarchs, the Imperium has lost the ability to create new gene seed, and must instead cultivate what already exists. Therefore, each chapter must carefully preserve their respective gene seed, often harvesting organs from their fallen brothers. In many cases, chapters are no longer able to replicate all 19 organs and must perform the transformation without them, leading to missing or lessened abilities. Additionally, the gene seed has begun to deteriorate over the millennia, and mutations can occur during the replication process. Individual Astartes and sometimes entire chapters can be afflicted by these mutations, some of which have been known to be so severe that none have survived them.
Ooh.
In other instances, mutations might be merely superficial, or actually lead to beneficial and desired abnormalities.
God damn.
The creation of a new Space Marine chapter...
Mutation are like the mutant shit, right? Some of them have this kind of wolf type. They literally look like wolves, for fuck's sake. Like he saw that. Some of them bleeds like fuck. Some of them have like Wolverine type of spikes. That's just great.
Occurs by the Edict of the High Lords of Terror, and is part of a larger grouping known as a founding. There is no defined interval between foundings. Several may occur in a decade and then a millennium before the next. But each is a massive undertaking, requiring the resources of many hundreds of worlds, most notably Mars, which plays an essential role in creating the gene seed samples from which these new chapters will be based. Foundings can be particularly noteworthy or infamous, and often demonstrate the rampant deficiencies within Imperial records. It is common for chapters derived from the gene seed of the same Primarch to feel a sense of kinship for one another. Those created during the first founding by the hand of the Emperor himself are usually considered the first among equals. Others might actively distance themselves from their brother chapters, while others still might have lost all records from which Primarch they were created. Under such circumstances, it is impossible to construct an accurate history of the Space Marines beyond the most foundational of events. The Astartes were originally organized under 20 legions, each many times the size of a modern chapter, and used to pacify Terra as part of the Unification Wars. Among their first duties was the destruction of their immediate predecessors, the Thunder Warriors, who had begun to suffer a catastrophic biological failure. These legions then spearheaded the Great Crusade, slowly bringing...
Yeah, what happened to the Thunder Warriors? Like you said, they're literally the earliest form of the Space Marine. That was just tragic, I guess. I mean, Emperor basically fucked them, right? In the end, but yeah, that was just fucking tragic. I mean, I kinda can see where Emperor was coming from, but it's a dark universe. What can you do?
The Emperor back into contact with the Primarchs, who had been scattered across the galaxy by the machinations of the ruinous powers. Once united, the Primarchs led their legions in the reconquest of the galaxy, bringing hundreds of thousands of star systems under Imperial control. By the end of the Great Crusade, 2 of the legions had been expunged from Imperial records, along with their respective Primarchs. The circumstances of their erasure have never been disclosed, but might have been a warning of the tragedy to come that would tear the Imperium apart. During the Horus Heresy, a full half of the remaining legions fell into the thrall of chaos, igniting a 9-year war that would devastate the galaxy and result in the internment of the Emperor upon the Golden Throne. While the Imperium narrowly emerged victorious over the traitor legions, the conflict made apparent the inherent danger of placing so many Astartes under the command of a single soul. To prevent another civil war of such scope, Rabute Guilliman, Primarch of the Ultramarines, penned the Codex Astartes. Its most lasting and resented decree was that the legions be divided and reorganized into smaller 1,000 Marine chapters. Eventually, the other surviving Loyalist Primarchs agreed. Their 9 legions, the Dark Angels under Lionel Johnson, the White Scars under Jagatai Khan, the Space Wolves under Leman Russ, the Imperial Fists under Rogel Dawn, the Salamanders under Vulcan, the Raven Guard under Corvus Corax, the Blood Angels and Iron Hands under the fallen Primarchs Sanguinius and Ferrus Manus respectively, together with Guilliman's own Ultramarines, all were broken down into smaller brotherhoods. One by one, the Primarchs disappeared into legend, but their chapters endured throughout the bloody age of the Imperium. Their number waxed and waned.
What you talking about? No Primarch is around anymore? Yeah, they're right. Wait a minute. Let me back off a bit.
Together with Guilliman's own Ultramarines, all were broken down into smaller brotherhoods. One by one, the Primarchs disappeared into legend, but their chapters endured throughout the bloody age of the Imperium.
What? So no Primarch is around, is that it? Damn. Okay, now I understand that why he's talking about, the chapters master or whatever, because they were broken down. They're no longer 20 chapters, basically. No longer 20 legions. They're broken down to even smaller ones now. And many. Huh. That kind of makes sense. So no Primarch is around anymore. Damn, that's fucked up. So far, the way things are going on, like how Gene Seed is kind of not as great as it used to be anymore, right? Everything is basically slowly, I guess, decaying, let's just say. And how basically chaos is getting stronger, right? And obviously Tyranids and now, Eldars are also kind of slowly getting powerful. So is Necrons. It feels like, the future for, Imperium from here is kind of dark, isn't it? I mean, after Cadia, it's already dark, but now slowly everybody's improving, but Imperium is kind of getting weaker. Is that the case? That's just fucked up.
Their number waxed and waned across the millennia. Terrible wars left many on the verge of destruction, and others were annihilated outright. Successive foundings swelled their ranks again, but also brought new mutations and peculiarities. Only now, in an era feared as the time of ending, have the Adeptus Astartes undergone a bold new evolution. In the days following the Horus Heresy, at the direction of Rabute Guilliman, the priesthood of Mars set to work improving on the Emperor's original designs. 10,000 years they toiled, and now with Guilliman revived from his stasis and leading the Imperium as its new regent, the efforts of Mars have finally borne fruit. The Primaris Astartes...
So Guilliman is back, is that it? Gilliman is the only one Primarch that is back, and apparently knowing after Horus Heresy, him being the leader of the Smurfs, right, Ultramarines, he was kind of the leader after every Primarch. So basically, fucked. Horus dead, Emperor is on the throne, basically not doing much. Gilliman is the one who was kind of the leader of everything, right? He was deciding what to do, what not to do. People were respecting him and hearing what he was saying, and he's trying to improve things. I remember somebody saying that there is a certain thing is happening in Warhammer, that there is a, I guess, more brighter side for the future of Imperium. And is that what they were talking about? Like Gilliman is planning something, and maybe it's not all Dark Road after here.
These are a new breed of Space Marine, capable of greater feats than any that came before. The Ultima Founding has deployed dozens of new chapters of such warriors across the galaxy, and every preceding chapter has been reinforced with Primaris Marines. Most critically, methods have been devised so that every Astartes might undergo the transformation to become Primaris themselves. Not all have survived, but the enhanced capabilities of those that do have justified the inherent risk. Their introduction has brought the first substantial revisions to the Codex Astartes itself, transforming the methods by which the Space Marines make war. The Primaris Astartes were forged for use in mankind's darkest hour, an hour that has now finally arrived. But however greatly they differ from the firstborn Astartes that once set forth across the galaxy during the Great Crusade, their purpose remains unchanged. They are pure of heart and strong of body, untainted by doubt and unsullied by self-aggrandizement. They are bright stars on the firmament of battle, angels of death, whose shining wings bring swift annihilation to the enemies of man. So it shall be for 1,000 times, for 1,000 years, unto the very end of eternity, and the extinction of mortal flesh.
That's just creepy as fuck, all this. Wasn't that the clip from Astartes, that short film? I don't know. So, people are saying that Warhammer's lore is kind of recently been improved, changed, like Games Workshop introduced more lore that changes things. Was that part of this video? That Gilliman is now awakened? But so far, up until now, Gilliman was in stasis or something, in coma. But I guess Games Workshop revised it. Gilliman, woke up, has been from, like that from the start. Like that's the part of 41st millennia from the start, where 2-3 decades ago, whenever this started. I don't know. But it feels like, this, the new type of Space Marines that he's talking about already has been deployed. How powerful are they, man, compared to the normal Space Marines? Somebody made video about them, whatever he said, Primaris Space Marine, I don't know what he said. Did somebody make video about that? That would be so great to know how this newer advanced Space Marine, how powerful they are. Right, people, that was Adeptus Astartes Space Marines by the channel the Templar Institute. Yeah, so far in Warhammer 40,000, Necrons are doing something that is basically, gonna make them powerful sooner. Eldars are kind of awoken something. I remember somebody saying that in comments. I don't know what that is about. But Eldars did something that makes them powerful too. Everybody's getting powerful. Orcs don't need to be powerful, they already are, right? Their wishing ability and their numbers. Tyranids are already countless, right? They are here. So apparently every single species of the, in this Warhammer universe is powerful, while Imperium is the one who's slowly getting worse and worse. But maybe there's hope. Maybe Gulliman's plans are bringing hope, I guess. That would make Imperium more powerful, who knows? Alright, people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the reaction until there's a link in the description, check out the cast for place, and yeah, I'll see you next time.